Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, joining us are our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, among other things, January is recognized as Financial Wellness Month. And with everything that's going on that we hear in the news, where we're talking about inflation, or even those who are looking at the amount that they spent in the holiday season, now may be the perfect time for you to learn about personal finances and how you can manage your debt. Well, we have the perfect guest that's joining us today. We have Natalia Brown with us. Natalia is the Chief Client Operations Officer at National Debt Relief. She's going to share with you guys some great tips on how you all can start making action today. Natalia, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Really, thank you so much for having me, Cyrus. I appreciate it.
So, great information we're going to be talking about today. But before we get started, as I mentioned, you're with National Debt Relief. For those who are just now finding out about it, can you tell us a little bit more about National Debt Relief and exactly what it does in being able to offer tools and resources?
Absolutely. So National Debt Relief negotiates on our clients' behalf to reduce the amount of money they owe in as little as 24 to 48 months. Most often, we see our clients enrolling credit card debt, medical bills, and sometimes personal loans as well. So, for example, someone who has $30,000 in credit card debt and they're making minimum payments, we find that it takes them over 30 years to pay off that debt. And it takes so long because that person is paying 3 to 4 times that balance due to interest. So as an alternative, we actually don't charge any fees for our consultations, and we're what we call performance-based, which means we only collect a fee once we actually get the work done. We're with our clients every step of the way, and we found that after 1 month of graduating our program, 95% of our clients are in a better financial situation, and they are 4 times more likely to reach their financial goals and have the ability to save.
Oh, I love that. We're going to be letting our audience know, Natalia, how they can be able to find out more information about National Debt Relief. So looking at the time that we're in right now, as I mentioned, inflation is the big thing that a lot of people are talking about. Can you share a few tips for our audience on how people can balance their budgets right now?
Sure. We've been able to help over 400,000 people get out of debt over the last decade. It's really our goal to make sure that we have our clients living healthier financial lifestyles. And we did a survey that found that 70% of our respondents fear they can't live their current lifestyle because of inflation. So 2 tips I have is, 1, during this time, avoid impulse spending and charging those balances to your credit cards. It would be really difficult to pay those off, especially if you need to do it in a short period of time. I would also say start setting up an automatic savings account, even if it's just $1 a day for emergencies. And if you're not in that position yet, look for ways to cut back. So instead of buying a large cup of coffee every single day, maybe you want to brew that cup at home and have some fun being an at-home barista.
A great tip, and something that, again, for our audience out there, Natalia, I think that's something all of them can start doing, looking at where they're spending their little money and being able to cut back for sure. Now, one of the things that National Debt Relief did is they conducted a national survey to kind of get an impact on exactly where people are when it comes to debt right now. What were some of the findings there?
It was such an interesting survey. We found out just how much debt is really affecting people's lives and their future outlook. With debt comes a lot of shame sometimes. We found that 3 out of 5 people feel pressured to spend money they can't afford just to hide their financial situation from the people that they know. We also found that it affects relationships, holding back from, dating, delaying marriages. And then we also saw some data that said people are getting divorced over debt. And finally, we also saw that burden of debt really doesn't just impact your mental and emotional health, but also your physical health. We found that people aren't sleeping. Over 200 hours of sleep goes missing because people are stressing over how much they owe, and they're even having nightmares about it up to 3 times a week, according to the new research. So I think that really does equate to about a month of sleep per year, which is really devastating to your physical health.
So we definitely know the impact that debt can have, Natalia, on our well-being, not just, of course, on our financial well-being, but also on our health. So looking at where we are now, what are the best ways for our audience then, if they find themselves in debt, to start overcoming the challenges that they're facing?
So, 1, the first thing that everyone can do today is really start planning for unexpected expenses. The Federal Reserve reported that 40% of Americans are actually having trouble paying an emergency bill of $400. So having that emergency fund is really important. And the other thing I would say is really seek the help of an expert. If you need help getting out of debt, reach out to an organization like National Debt Relief to learn how to tackle that situation.
Love it. Great tips to kick off this year. And as I mentioned, January is being recognized as Financial Wellness Month. So it's a great time for our audience to take action. Again, our guest today is sharing some great information is Natalia Brown, the Chief Client Operations Officer with National Debt Relief. So, Natalia, where can our audience go for more information?
The audience can find us at nationaldebtrelief.com or give us a phone call at 800-930-1484 to speak to one of our debt experts for a free, no obligation consultation.
Natalia, thank you so much for the great work you're doing and for being with us today, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
And glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.